In this video, I'm going to give you all the things that you need to start digital drawing if you haven't still started. I know that it's going to be really hard for you if you're doing all the traditional drawing and drawing on paper and then you want to switch to digital drawing, because I know I've been there. And I had such a hard time. I was like screaming because it was so hard. I was like, this is unfair. And like, I would just be always complaining. And I didn't want to complain, but like, it just came. Like, it was literally so brutal that I didn't really had any motivation to continue on because I would just fail. Like, none of my drawing would work. And I was really desperate to see how I can actually work with this tool. So I opened up YouTube immediately and started searching for digital drawing tutorial. And I came across so many videos, but it either would be just so complex and it's just like for a very huge painting, which was not really my style, or it would be on another device entirely. Like, I wouldn't really have those tools that they were talking about, and I was like constantly looking for them in Procreate, which was like not really existing, and I would just be lost in the entire whirlpool of their explanation. I gave up entirely on whatever they were selling me, and I started doing it myself. I started to make sense of digital drawing myself on my own terms. I would just take it slowly. I would just go and make a lot of mistakes and learn from those mistakes. And I would just like really explore all the possible features of the app without even fearing that it might mess up the entire thing. It wouldn't really be on my mind because like I had nothing to lose. So I came up with all the techniques that I could possibly use to actually make it work. So I can now maybe show you in the most simple ways how you can switch to digital drawing without feeling so much of a pain. And I don't want this video to be like those videos that are so complex and it just like goes on different techniques, and we don't really need that. Like, somebody who's starting out doesn't really need those overwhelming amount of details. What they need is just basic information so that they can go all in on their own and just explore whatever the feature of that app might be. So here it is. I am going to show you how you can use Procreate to your advantage and use this application as something that you can actually learn digital drawing on. And like, it's the easiest app to start with. If you're a beginner, I 100% recommend that you should use this app. This is not even a recommendation. This is just like commandment. You are required to do this app, to do Procreate, to do your drawings in Procreate. Just switch to Procreate and everything is going to be easy. When you want to start drawing in Procreate, one thing that you should know is that you should add layers to your painting. One big reason that you should draw in separate layers is because when you're adding paint and shadows and everything to your painting, if you mess up, you're never gonna be going back. You're gonna go all the way back. It's just gonna crush your brain because now you have messed up one tiny part of it and you wanna just like remove that part of it, but you have to remove the whole thing. So keep the sketching parts on a separate layer and then the painting of the base color on another layer. And also you can do this thing that I do, which is like keeping parts of my painting on separate layers. So in this way, you're just separating every part of your painting, which means that when you're focusing on the skin and you're drawing over the skin, you're only affecting the skin layer. And when you're focusing on the hair and the clothes and everything, it's just like on a separate layer. So no matter where you draw, it's not gonna affect other areas. And the two features that I find to be really helpful is the alpha lock and also the clipping mask. When you're drawing over one layer and you want to add shadows to that layer, you use the base color of that layer, which is like the base color that you don't really touch, and you add another layer on top of it to clip it to the base layer, which creates this beautiful reversible sort of like situation for any mistake that can happen. So when you're doing that, you're not using the base color, you're not touching the base color, you're just adding something to the base color, which can be wiped out without the base color being touched, which is pretty cool. And that really helps to keep your mistakes reversible. And you also have the alpha lock, which helps you create this immune sort of environment for you to just draw over the color that you just have and not go over the line. So you just like fill an area with the color and you just lock it so that you only paint over that color, not on the entire canvas. That is going to become your entire canvas. And those two features are the most important to me because I've used them more than any other features available on Procreate, which is, by the way, such a simple thing and you can just like immediately use it. But when I was really new to digital drawing, I was like confused. What is a clipping mask? How does it work? What is alpha lock? I was like really annoyed because I didn't know what those terms were and how they worked. So I took the trial and error approach and I started to do it by myself and not care about whatever they tell me to do and not take their words for it, but absolutely experience it for myself. And that began a series of just me going through all the features of Procreate and trying to figure out how it works. And so there are so many features of Procreate that absolutely just like revolutionize your entire painting that you might not be aware of. So if you're starting out, my advice to you would be that you need to go explore everything because you have nothing to lose. Literally, like you're starting from zero, you have a lot of time on your hand to just go and try out so many features and see what works for your cell and just like do that and then get better at it. That's the formula. And so what I am doing here is that I am teaching you how to learn, not teaching you the stuff that you need to learn, because the stuff will come to you. It's not that big of a deal. How you learn it is crucial. It's the most important part of this video, how you learn to do this. And once you know this, everything else is just gonna be as easy as eating a piece of cake. You can catch your own fish. I don't need to catch it for you. I just want to teach you how to catch it. So I hope that this does make sense because it's absolutely the premise of this video. And I wanted you to know that if you're seeing my drawings, this is not what it looked like back then. It was bad. This has all come to me by practicing and experimenting with different tools and trying to find the one that really works for me. So in the past, I wasn't really satisfied with the brushes that I found to be on Procreate. So I started to search for better brushes, and finally I came to realize that I work well with the 6B pencil brush and the peppermint brush, and I use them ever since. And that is how I learned to draw in Procreate. As easy as that. No specific tools, nothing, just experimentation.